What is Ten Hag going to do now? Manchester United selection dilemma after a star-studded 7-star performance last night from the Reds in the Carabao Cup against Barnsley. Yes, it was only Barnsley. Yes, I've already had backlash for actually trying to be happy about Manchester United getting a positive result last night. We don't care. Man United are in the next round and we're scoring goals. The problem we've got now isn't so much a problem. It's a very nice problem for Ten Hag to deal with because he has got everyone available in that front line right now. He's got everyone he wants available in the back line, barring Yoro. We've got loads to talk about this morning. I want to get reactions in the live chat from you guys about what you thought of last night and who you now see as the perfect, let's just say, trio up front for Manchester United. Let's just go through all of that. Let's look at everything that's going on from last night, the aftermath, the thoughts on everyone. Is it too much? Are we getting ahead of ourselves? Is it just that Manchester United right now, we're looking for any single positive we could get to take out of anything? I think that was a great performance last night, considering the opposition as well and everything rolled into that game. I'm still happy with the performance from Manchester United. So let's get into all of that. Please give the video a like. Let's get subscribing as well, everybody. A few of you have done already. Thank you and welcome to all the new subscribers in the house. Hope you're doing fantastically well. Just sit back, enjoy the show, get your comments in the live section. Please comment below as well once you're finished, and let's get cracking with the show. So now you know that Manchester United have got goals in them. You look at everyone in that front line. So let's just assess the last two games, for instance, and let's look at the problem that Ten Hag has got right now. And like Ten Hag has said in his press conference, it's a good headache to have. It is the problem that we want to be having at Manchester United, and that is that we don't know who to pick. We don't know who is the best option. We don't know which way to go forward. We just know that all of these players don't mind playing with each other, and the combinations are open. It's not even a problem. I'm just going to start off by saying that. It isn't a problem because you can now fully rotate, freshen things up. There were calls last night to play Ahmad a bit longer than we did. I think Ten Hag wanted to build some confidence in the forward line. I think he wanted to build some confidence in the partnerships. Garnacho and Rashford were on fire last night, obviously. And you're looking at Anthony trying to stake his claim. He's not going to be playing this weekend. I've put a poll up there in the main players that I feel right now in the live chat I think are probably the ones that we're all going to be discussing and who he goes with. Let's not forget, Rasmus Højlund is back and available probably for this weekend as well. I don't see him coming in, definitely not with the form of the other players. But a weekend against Southampton, Ahmad was making all sorts and breaking all sorts of records in terms of assists and chances created and all of that. He was our main creative player, and he has been probably the most consistent player so far this season. Where the other players have just started to hit form now, like Garnacho was off against Liverpool. Also, Rashford has been poor up until the Southampton game pretty much. Ahmad has been the ever-present. He's been the consistent one. And there's a lot of people getting ahead of themselves right now. Just talking about why are we even thinking about dropping Ahmad now just because Rashford and Garnacho have turned up. Look, we're not saying that Ahmad should be completely dropped out of the side. I think Ahmad should come back in. Personally, I think there is half a chance that Xerxes might be the one that misses out because Ten Hag's got excited about Rashford scoring goals at 9. You could actually see Rashford, Ahmad and Garnacho all start against Crystal Palace to add that, I don't know, that bit of extra pace, that euphemism, that sort of dynamism. But I don't mind the way that Xerxes is playing either at the moment. I think he's playing really well. And like I said before, and what not many people have picked up on, obviously because there's a lot more to talk about, putting Bruno Fernandes on the bench and making him watch the game. Not so much just dropping him out, benching him, and then just letting him come onto the pitch and do what he did. Like instantly last night, just came on the pitch, bang, 2 assists, kept it simple, did everything right, and Bruno had an impact without even really playing a part in the game that much. That's what you get when you start resting players. That's what you get when you start rotating players. And that's what you get when you give everyone a taste of the action because they all want to do more because they know they're probably going to get another chance later down the line to come back and do it all again. And that's what you have to look at in this. I feel like United right now, and Ten Hag is in the perfect position. He could change anything up there and no one could complain. Not one player could spit his dummy out and say, I haven't been given my chance. If Rashford gets dropped, then you could easily say that's 2 games you've played in a row, 90 minutes, Marcus. Well, not 90 minutes, he came off early against Southampton, but 2 games you've started in a row. You've done your bit. We're now rotating it and freshening things up. We need you for FC 20 and Spurs next week. You could easily say that as a manager. And I think none of the players, Rashford, Garnacho or Ahmad, could really have any sort of issue with being left out of the side right now or rotated out. I do believe that Ahmad should be given the chance again because, like, he was sat on the bench there last night and he's probably thinking to himself, he's probably going, oh, for God's sake, I could have been part of this and actually having my my sort of numbers going up, and I could have been doing what Rashford and Garnacho and Anthony are doing right now. But look, he's already done his bit. He's already played his part, and I feel like he should be given a fair crack and coming straight back in, I feel. But, you know, when games like that happen, and no one expected 7-0. I mean, I said 4-0 going in. I expected United to smash Barnsley. We've been talking it up all week, and I didn't think it was disrespectful in any way because the under-21s had already beaten Barnsley in a friendly this season. Now the first team have gone on and absolutely killed them. We've done exactly what United should do. But this has not happened under Ten Hag before. We've not gone out and gone for a team's throat. We didn't let our foot up off the gas the whole time. And that's the most important thing. That is everything that Manchester United fans have been waiting to see. We wait to see that performance where it didn't really matter who the opponent was. We just went and played United's game. And we did play United's game in that one yesterday. And I feel like that was a result, and the only result that we could have got last night to actually convince fans walking out of Old Trafford and give everyone that sort of uplifting feeling that was around Old Trafford outside last night, because everyone was jubilant, everyone was buoyant, everyone was really happy just seeing goals scored at Old Trafford. And like the Barnsley fans were like singing at the start of the game, going on about Manchester United and it being quiet in Old Trafford. And sometimes the football has to do the talking to raise the atmosphere. And that doesn't happen a lot with United. So really, looking at it, I thought United did their part. They raised the atmosphere. They got everyone going by playing decent football and attacking, free-flowing football. We had a freedom last night in our game. And you just got to look at everything there. And then when you say that Manchester United need depth, when you say that Manchester United need more numbers and Ten Hag doesn't have enough players, you have to just look at last night and go, 8 changes and you've still got Mount, Shaw, Højlund and Euro to come back. You could add Malacia to that as well. All of these players are literally round the corner from coming back in the squad. So when you look at 8 changes and there only being 1 academy player coming into that team in Collier, the squad is massive. The depth is there. And I'll say it again, there is zero excuse for Manchester United not to make top 4. We can see what this team can do. We know what this team can do. And I feel like Ten Hag now has everything in his arsenal to go out there and actually get the job done. I do believe that he can rotate as much. Like when you're bringing in players like Evans, Maguire, Antony, Casemiro, Agate, Garnacho, like them 6 on their own there, right there you're talking, like that is Manchester United's team from last season. That's the team pretty much that was helping Manchester United get through and beat Manchester City in the cup final, which kept Ten Hag's job. So when you got them players coming in and you got that many changes and you still got, 5 first-team players in Højlund, Shaw, Mount and Euro and Malacia to come back in as well, who are very close. It's there. Rotate it. Keep everything fresh. Rashford's just going to have to take it on the chin. If he gets left out and been put on the bench this weekend, so be it. Do we think that Ten Hag will do that, though? I'm going to come to the chat now and just see where you guys are at from last night's game and what you think might happen this weekend. Let me know. Get your comments coming in. Adam says, I think Garnacho misses Kaz's no score. Garnacho is back up for Rashford at the moment. He just needs to keep kicking on and he will be starting soon. It's like Adam's saying there that it'll be Garnacho. Manchester United's leading goal scorer this season and leading assists this season, and he should be the one missing out. He's playing second fiddle. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's talking about stats, and stats back Garnacho up better than anybody, and impact better than anybody in this team, but people are still saying it will be Garnacho. It's crazy, isn't it? But when you think about it, there is a reality in that. You cannot ignore that comment there from what Adam says. I think a lot of people will be thinking it. It's like, keep him on the bench. He's a better impact sub. But he started his game last night and he absolutely crushed it. It was a brilliant performance from Garnacho. And he was absolutely by far, I thought, and there was plenty of players there last night who could have got man of the match, but Garnacho was 100% man of the match. Amir says, Manuel Agate, true warrior. Cannot wait to see this guy get consistent football now in Manchester United side. He has cemented himself into that Manchester United midfield now. Can 100% confidently say that on Saturday against Crystal Palace, Manuel Agate will be playing from the start of the game. He was brilliant last night. Again, I'm not forgetting about who we played last night. I'm not getting carried away with anything. But what you have to look at is players playing well and rising to an occasion or dropping down to an occasion and bringing that occasion up. It's not like beforehand, Manchester United would have just been walking around the pitch. It would have been just get the job done, a 2-0 win or something boring like that. But no, what that did, it backed up the weekend's win with a massive win. And now, in terms of preparation, it could not have gone any better this week. It couldn't have gone any better. Players coming back from injury, players hitting form, everyone getting rest time, everyone getting game time. And he has made, Ten Hag has finally changed to a point where he's made everyone feel like they are part of the squad. You could have argued there was a little bit of shoehorning players in last night. Like, I felt sorry for Collier a little bit. They isolated him at the start of the game on that left-hand side. It will be countered by saying that he was playing inverted, and that's the reason they put him in there. Johnny Evans was cutting across more onto the left when Collier moved into midfield as an extra man in midfield. The tactics, I can see all of that, and there is an argument for that. But he got a full 90 minutes, which is great. And to get a debut, play full 90 minutes and get Manchester United, or be part of Manchester United's biggest win under Ten Hag, is absolutely huge. And that will give him the power of good and the power of confidence. But again, more importantly, make him feel like he is part of this squad. And it is a squad game. Ten Hag bangs on about it all of the time. He said it in his press conference before, which is little signs of ours see him actually changing from his stubborn ways. Look, he has to rotate. He has to rotate. And I think rotating keeps everyone on board, keeps everyone informed. Ten Hag has talked himself. You can see the tweets there. Marcus Rashford wants to score goals, but it's not just about Marcus Rashford. Other players are scoring goals as well. What a performance from Christian Eriksen. He's just come out of the blue altogether. I remember talking into the national break about Christian Eriksen actually playing in a different role and playing 90 minutes pretty much for Denmark, and we shouldn't ignore him. If he's going to be part of the squad, you might as well utilise him. And he's played the last 2 games, 2 goals last night, good finishes as well. And you just have to feel confident that even if Eriksen's dropped out, he will then come on off the bench and feel part of it and then go forward as well. And that's what you've got to look at. That's the confidence that this team should have now. Director of Football says every player that needed minutes was on the pitch again and a given time. No favouritism. It's clear Erik ten Hag has been spoken to. The only issue I saw from Erik ten Hag was the lack of youth on the bench. It's the first division, as in League One. We could have seen a bit more. Yeah, there was only Wheatley and Collier from the academy. It was a jam-packed first-team matchday squad yesterday, wasn't it? There was no messing. Maybe he thought, look, this. When you look at it, like, you made 8 changes and you still got them 5 first-team players that I mentioned to come in from injury. It's no surprise that we didn't see many of the youth academy players. But what you've got to look at there is, like, the depth on the depth. There is players there. The problem Ten Hag has always had is making everyone feel like they are part of this squad. He talked about squad all the time and didn't rotate. He talked about giving players the right amount of rest time, them being too many games, but he never rested players. He kept on playing players when he didn't need to. The fact that Martinez was completely out last night and didn't get any game time at all was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, because he's the one player that's played more than anyone. It's like they were all listening to us from the weekend. And to have no injuries, Bayindir getting game time as well. Mazraoui coming on in the end. And there was a brilliant moment right at the end of the game where Mazraoui got megged down the left-hand side, down Barnsley's left-hand side. And the player went away from him. And he sprinted back. It must have been about 50 yards, 50, 60 yards. Sprinted back, slid tackle, got the ball back. That's when you're 7-0 up. Game is over. You could have easily just forgotten about that. But no, the determination on his face just to sprint back and get that tackle in. That said everything about Manchester United's determination, application, and their whole approach to that game last night. It was outstanding. And again, Don't get me wrong, I know who we were playing last night. I know that this is a game that you'd expect Manchester United to win, and I've had loads of stick. Like, honestly, I'm either negative or I'm just overly positive. Like, I cannot, and I'm not allowed, according to some people, to actually be happy that United actually won that last night. Some people actually messaging me back on Twitter saying the only way I'd be happy is if we won this game 10-0. I mean, seriously, you just won 7-0. Be happy. Have a moment. You know what I mean? Enjoy Manchester United scoring goals. That's just took our average up over 2 goals a game this season. When can we ever say that? It was just nice to see. It was nice to see the players actually enjoying their football last night. And it did feel, like I said, and the biggest thing I take from it, and I've said this already on the show, was the players that came on did just as good as the players that were already on the pitch. And that is because of rotation. Well, who's the comment there? The director of football said, like, Ten Hag has been spoken to. Maybe we are seeing. I did say yesterday that Ruud van Nistelrooy is the biggest part of this new setup at Manchester United, because he was there at Manchester United under the pressure and the mental strain of playing for Manchester United, knowing what it was to play 50, 60 games a season and deal with that mentally as well as physically. And him being there with Ten Hag and going, look, even if these players are not playing well or at the highest level, they're still expected to perform for Manchester United. And that level of expectation is higher than anywhere else. And Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in, and just being that word, I feel, has been a big part of why Manchester United are a bit more, let's just say, over the last few weeks, are definitely rotating and using everything that they've got in their arsenal. All of the squad is being used. And it feels like all of the players are confident. Anthony can't complain. Now, at weekend, you come on against Crystal Palace. Manchester United might be being battered around a little bit. Palace might be physical. And you just need that bit of a physical presence instead of like the creative sort of spark. Just someone to go on there and be a bit of a rough and tumble. Then Anthony can be that player. Anthony loves to get stuck in. He's strong on the ball. Yes, you could argue his end product and everything else that we've argued about Anthony. But one thing he is a little terrier, and he will work. And you know, to have that on for 20 minutes in a game against Crystal Palace, that might work, and that might be the difference that Ten Hag has got. Because Anthony now knows he's just played 90 minutes. He's got his goal. He's had a decent game. And he'll have confidence going into Palace. And that little 20 minutes or the little cameo that he gets in that game at Palace at weekend, he might not, but if he does, he'll give even more, because he feels like, you know what? We've got FC 20 next week, and I might get another chance to have another 60, 70 minutes because I've performed. And then you start getting into the manager's mind, like these Premier League games, we could maybe rest players for more. If it gets to 60 minutes and they're not doing it, we can trust Anthony for 30 minutes. Squad rotation brings out so many different scenarios, and I think Ten Hag may have just about latched onto something. It's early days, and I might get a little bit too ahead of myself, I know, but it will all come down to how we perform against Palace. I could be sat here talking to you guys on Saturday going, I can't believe it. Why was I even getting ahead of myself? Look, you cannot get excited, not get excited about scoring 10 goals in 2 games and conceding none. Yes, the opposition was shit, but still, 10 goals in 2 games. Let that just sink in. We don't score goals, and this week we have. And we've got big players scoring them goals as well. We're spreading them out amongst the team. All of a sudden, Garnacho pretty much, if you had the City game at the start of the season, the Community Shield, he's on 4 goals and 4 assists. So, really, Garnacho is firing right now. Rashford has got 3 in 2 games. Anthony scored, Eriksen's scoring. Bruno's got 3 assists in 2 games, even though he's only started 1 of them. The players that we need to be playing and players that we need to be in form are in form right now. And I do like Xerxes as well. I am liking the way he is adapting, and his link-up play is starting to really appeal to a lot of these players around. He does take a couple of players away and create space for others around him. Look, if we went into this game at weekend, there's all sorts. I'm going to come into the chat in a minute. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit, but I just wanted to get this one. Like, we've put a poll up right there. I'm just going to go to the poll right now. Who misses out on Saturday? You've got 4 options. Rashford, Ahmad, Garnacho, Xerxes. Garnacho, Manchester United's leading goal scorer this season, leading assist this season, is winning the poll. That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know with where the fan base is at and how confident they are within the players that we've got. We haven't got an issue with putting Garnacho on the bench. Last season, there'd have been uproar in this. Last season, people would have been bitching and moaning about Garnacho not getting his game time. Look, right now, after the way that we've just played and the way that Garnacho's come on Saturday, he's then started this game against Barnsley. Maybe he'll get 30, 20 minutes on Saturday if he's dropped out. But there's a chance, like I said, that you could play all three of them. There's a chance. Well, there isn't, but you could easily argue a point where it's Rashford, Garnacho, and Ahmad with Xerxes behind them and Bruno doesn't play. You could. There is a point. It's not going to happen. Don't get me wrong. It's never going to happen, I don't think, because he is going to play Bruno at weekend. But still, I feel that right now, Ten Hag has got multiple options, and he's probably sat there this morning with his coaches, and he's probably going, actually, right now, we could play whichever way we wanted to play. And do you know what this does? It brings you a confidence of going into a game that you can play your style of football and not worry as much about the opposition, because you've got different ways of playing and you've got different players that bring different attributes and you could mix it up completely. Whereas before, you've got players that are not in form, players moaning that they're not playing, unrest in the dressing room, fallout, leaks coming out about players being unhappy with tactics and favourites within the squad and all of that. Now, with everyone getting game time and everyone being part of it, you could actually implement your game plan more, and it just breeds confidence. The biggest thing out of winning 7-0 is confidence. It doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter who the opposition is. The fact that you won 7-0 going into a game at weekend, no matter who the opposition is, it could be Liverpool, City, Aston Villa, anyone who's playing well right now, it doesn't matter. Manchester United are in confident mood and the form is good, and you've got players all scoring goals and playing well, and Garte coming in as well. How good was he last night? Right, let's get into the comments, sorry. Enjoy the moment. We can only beat who we are playing. Talk about the positives and more onto the weekend. I just hope they don't let us down at weekend. Yeah, Amir says, Kobe Mainoo versus Manuel Ugarte. This is the midfield duo United fans need. Again, like Mainoo and Martinez, both completely rested, ready for weekend. Do they walk straight back in? You've got arguments all over the pitch right now. You've got them. Let's get them likes up, everybody. We've only got 136. We need to be well over 200. Let's see how close we can get to that 300 mark again. We hit 300 live likes in yesterday morning's show. Can you beat it, everyone? That's your challenge. Get them likes coming up. Make sure you've subscribed as well, everyone, to the show. Let's get into more of these comments. David says, Bruno plays every single game and minutes. No wonder he drops strikers, drops a stinker at times. Look, Bruno off the bench. I said it. Bruno off the bench. It worked. It worked. He has got that impact off the bench that you cannot prepare for. It's like in the game, you work Bruno out. You figure out where he's going. Bruno as an impact player is a different ball game. And Bruno going through like into his 30s now, I think we need to utilise Bruno a little bit differently as well. Because he cannot be starting every single game. He can't. If he is, then it's just going to start bringing him down and down and down. I think you need to manage him like Kevin De Bruyne is at Manchester City. There's no reason why he should be playing every game. We've got enough players to cover it right now. Xerxes can comfortably fit in at that 10 role. And it gives us a completely different look. And then if it's not working, Bruno comes on. And then you'll have that moment, won't you? When you need him. Bruno can be a starter and a bench player easily. Xerxes' style brings everyone into the play. He's exactly the type of forward that wingers love playing with, says Dill. All players will play plenty of minutes, 60 games, says Sean. What's we got? Who thinks Collier is good, says Stuart. I like it. Unfortunate start of the game, but he grew into the game and he got better and better and better. Erik Ten Hag has to rotate his squad. Football is a squad game. However, he needs to keep the centre-backs Martinez and De Ligt in place. Yeah, resting him last night I think was fine. I think Martinez, De Ligt, and let's not forget, Yoro is coming on the scene very, very soon. So you've got that to come in as well. And it's going to be really interesting to see how much game time Yoro gets this season. It really is. Manuel Ugarte could be perfect for Manchester United. He looks perfect already. I'm not just saying it because he's been in, but we've got 2 clean sheets. Well, Ugarte's been playing. Obviously, he only played a bit part against Southampton. It was against 10 men pretty much for most of his time on the pitch. But still, it's good signs. Bigger tests to come. And not getting massively ahead of ourselves. Like tomorrow, it will be back down to talking serious and looking ahead to Crystal Palace. But you've just got to enjoy what's in front of you and enjoy the moment. And when your team scores 7... which is very rare, even in these types of so-called lesser games, you still got to take it and run with it. It's good to be part of winning a game 7-0 off the back of winning 3-0. There is no better confidence booster going into a weekend in what's going to be a tough group of fixtures now. But if Ten Hag wins on Saturday, and then we beat FC Twente next week, and that's 4 wins in a row, and then you're going into Spurs, Porto and Villa, the 3 big games of this batch until the next international break, you feel a lot more confident going into them games. And I feel like United, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if United come through this batch of games and then go into the next international break off a high like that, then we'll see how many people agree with me about that top 4 fight, because Spurs and Villa, they're your levellers right there. And with Porto in between them two, they're the games that you are expecting to actually get a bit of a harder game. But that, I think, will tell everybody where Manchester United are actually at. I think that's the key one there. That week there, Spurs, Porto, Villa. If we can just get these next 2 wins now against Palace and FC Twente, then that will put us in good position. And we should beat Spurs at home. Our record against Spurs at home is good, and we should be looking to beat them. So get that one in there, and then that's 3 Premier League wins. We're comfortably in the top 4 race then, because that'll put us in round about 5th or 6th. And United, I was listening to the radio last night, and everyone was laughing off Manchester United, saying we're overreacting. Yeah, you could probably say that a little bit. We were overreacting a bit from a great result. But everyone was saying, I see United still finishing 6th and 7th. It's like, why do we have to accept that? Like, there's enough players in this squad and enough versatility to actually go further in to this season and make top 4. We've got the quality there. It's there for everyone to see. Nathan says, resting centre-backs last night is fine for cup games, but in the Premier League, we need our best centre-backs in place. We must get top 4. We'll win on Saturday against Crystal Palace. It'll be De Ligt and Martinez at weekend. We'll have Mazraoui and Dalot back in as well. So normal back 4. I expect Onana to be back in between the sticks. Bender got his cameo. Hopefully he gets a few more. So that will be the back 4. I think Agate will be in front of them. I think you can pretty much guarantee that's your back 5 and your holding midfielder right there. Then the questions come. Will it be Mainu and Bruno automatically because they were rested yesterday? I think they will. I think that's what it'll be. I think it'll be Agate and Bruno. And then we've got the conundrum. We've got the debate what we're having right now in the poll in the chat. Who will miss out on Saturday out of them front players? Rashford, Ahmad, Garnacho or Xerxes? Everybody is really confident that Ahmad is going to play. Like 17% of you, only 17% of you, 16% feel like Ahmad is going to miss out. Rashford, you all feel is a dead cert now. If you're going to rotate and use the same rotation format, then Rashford should be the one that's dropping out. But Rashford is a streak player, and Ten Hag knows this, doesn't he? If Rashford keeps playing, Rashford keeps playing when he's not scoring. Now Rashford's scoring, I think everybody looks at that and goes, actually, yeah, there's no chance that Rashford's being dropped now. Xerxes, 33% of you think might miss out. So I think a lot of people are actually thinking, you know what, between Xerxes and Garnacho, could even risk playing Rashford at number 9 again. I don't think it's a sustainable option, Rashford at number 9 at all. I don't like him at number 9. Last night's opposition gave him the freedom and the space to play Rashford ball, and it worked for him. I don't agree with the people that were saying that was Rashford's level, but you can only beat who's in front of you. And let's be honest, when you're 1-on-1, you got to take your chance. And Rashford took both of them chances that he had last night, and he took them well. Some people in here haven't had their breakfast this morning, says Malps. Andrew says, really hope that happens, Adam, that we win the next 2 games. That would make us all confident about this season. I said it, like before this international break finished, this next 7 games is huge. We've got off to a great start. 2 wins in the bag, 2 clean sheets. Palace at weekend. I think more people will be more convinced in United turning this so-called corner if we get the win at Palace. That will be the big one. If we get that, that's 3 in a row. You can't ignore that. And then we should be beating FC Twente in the Europa League next Wednesday. And then 4 in a row going into Spurs. Like, you're pretty much there, aren't you? I think we take a draw away to Porto. Tough game. I don't expect Manchester United to be steamrolling them. I think you take a draw away from them and then move forward from there. That's a tough game out of the way in Europa League. Comfortably in that top 8, I would say, with 4 points in that league there. So, I mean, get that, but then what do we take from Spurs and Villa? Bigger games to come. Amir says, Manuel Agate showed impressive performance in his Manchester United debut. Imagine if Anana was not there. However, the manager is so predictable. You got Ross says they need to move Casemiro into the 8. Also, give Agate and Collier the game at 6. Hopefully, Erik Ten Hag will start rotating Bruno with Eriksson. Big game or by 50 minutes. Sorry if that one just went off my screen there, that comments. We have a super chat in from You Got Ross. Thank you, my man. My 2 favourite wingers are Garnacho and Ahmad. I think Erik Ten Hag will play Rashford, especially if he is on a goal streak. Also, is Amas hurt, not on the bench? I'm not sure what the injury update is on Amas. I was surprised that he wasn't there. I really was surprised he wasn't there last night. But it can only be through injury, surely. Oh, good God, just had that cold coffee moment. Oh, God. Manuel Agate, this guy is going to be a monster. And new tanker at Manchester United. Miss out. I don't think anyone will miss out, but Rashi / Ahmad and Zirkzee to start first. Adam, your man Victor, where is he? He's still injured, mate. He's faking that. He's not faking an injury. He's not. I know he's not. But he's out. He's nowhere to be seen, and I'm glad. Like, that's one game out of the way that Victor probably would have played, and it's gone. So we're running out of games for him to play now. I don't want to see him anywhere near the team, to be honest. I think he was a disgrace in not moving on this summer. But still, Ten Hag is going to utilise everybody. And again, I go back to it. There can't be any excuses or any complaints from Ten Hag now. He's got a massive squad. Get more comments coming in. Everybody get voting in the poll. We have had 600 votes on that poll. It's getting close between Garnacho and Zirkzee. Is Garnacho your man? Get into the poll. Get talking. Get voting, everybody. Let's just see what we have got there. Flex says, if we win against Palace and Spurs, I imagine those players faking injuries will suddenly be fit. Oh, he's digging in a little bit there. About time we won at Palace, says Barbara. Babs was there last night. Absolutely buzzing Babs was last night. Loving it, weren't you? Keep them likes coming in, guys. We've got over 200 likes. Thank you, everybody. Amazing job again. How close can we get to that 300 like mark? Try and match up with yesterday's numbers. I was just happy last night that United got the win, got the comfortable win, got the mega win. Like, scoring goals, like, just going out there and giving it everything, not letting the occasion drop your standard. And it's the first time I've seen under Ten Hag, even though the opposition wasn't the best, the first time I've seen United go cutthroat and just go right at it non-stop. 3 goals in the first half, and then second half, we just kept on going forward, creating chance after chance after chance. I think the only debate going on amongst the fans was who was going to get that hat-trick. I had visions of Nottingham Forest when we beat them 8-2, and Cole and York were on 2 goals apiece, and everyone was trying to decide who was going to get the hat-trick out of the 2, and then Solskjaer came on and scored 4 goals. I thought, you know what, maybe someone like Zirkzee will come off the bench here and just bag an hat-trick, because honestly it was. I said it in the first half when it went to 2-0, I tweeted out, and you can go and check it, so you know I'm not lying, this is the perfect opportunity for Manchester United to break all records in getting Ten Hag's biggest win ever while being manager of Manchester United. And we went out and did it. It was brilliant. And just to get 7 goals alone, that was amazing. And you just went into last night thinking that the crowd are not going to be up for it. No one's going to be excited. And to come away with the 7-0 win, I mean, that was the only way that anyone was going to be impressed last night. And you still had people that were moaning that was only Barnsley and we can't get ahead of ourselves. You cannot ignore a 7-0 win. I'm sorry. You cannot. I'm not having that. And last night was brilliant. Let's move on to Palace. Looking confident. No injuries last night either. Brilliant again. Players coming back. I mean, wow. I'll say it again. I said it at the top of the show. Manchester United last night made 8 changes to the starting 11. In them 8 changes, there was only one academy player, which was Collier. The others were all full internationals. And then with that, and the other players that were rested, you have got Mount, Malacia, Yoro, Højlund and Shaw all around the corner from finishing their injuries and coming back into that squad as well. Can you imagine the fight to get on that bench on Manchester United games now going into the rest of this season? Touch wood, everything stays as it is and the squad stays fit. That is massive, obviously. And key players do need to stay fit as well. But still, you've got to look at the positive of having everyone available and the way that Ten Hag has managed this first couple of games after international break, because it's huge that everybody gets the game time that they need, and everybody did get the game time they needed for me. And I think we have to take only positives away from last night. And it's the first time I've come away from a game I haven't got anything to really moan about. It's brilliant. And I love it. More, please, may it continue. And going into this weekend, I feel more confident than I've ever felt going to a Crystal Palace game. I hate this place. And I'm going to keep on going on about it because United are finally going to get a win this weekend at Crystal Palace. We have to. It has been a big bugbear. We need to put to bed that 5-0 deficit from last season. Losing twice to Crystal Palace in a season. We need to end that. We need to put something in on Palace at weekend. And I think we're in perfect place to go and do it. That is your morning show, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been a good, positive start to the day. It was positive yesterday morning, building up. We knew we were going to win. We knew we were going to win big. The boys didn't let us down last night. May it continue. I'll bring you all updates throughout the day if it happens, back at 6:30 live as well. So we'll keep you posted if anything does come about for the midday show time. As always, in season now. And then obviously we'll be back live later on this evening. So yes, please do give this video a like. We've gone close to 250, which is great. Let's see how high we can get them likes, everybody. Around 900 in the room with us. Loving the morning show right now. Loving a positive morning show as well. It gets us set up for the day, doesn't it? But yes, thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure that you do hit that subscribe button and bell notification if you haven't already. And I will see you all later on this afternoon, this evening. Could see you at lunchtime, depending on what news comes out. But until then, have a fantastic day. And up the Reds, 7 are the best.